All right, here we go. Course 2, this is Investigation 3. I ran out of room on that. This is page 216 for your reference. And, well, let's see how this goes. This is our first time doing a flipped setting for math, but I think this will be beneficial to us, so here we go. So when we're looking at a coordinate plane, which is what I have displayed right here, there's a few things you need to understand. These are basically, each one of these things are basically little tick marks that are extended across a whole sheet of paper to make a grid, a graph. And we call that a coordinate plane. So in your notes, you should write that down if you're following along in your book, which you should be. Okay, coordinate plane. We can identify any point on the coordinate plane with two numbers. So it's like a navigator on a plane. We can use two things to indicate what we're looking at. So what we're doing is, on the horizon, the horizontal line, is we have something that we call the x-axis. And that identifies any point horizontally. Going vertically, we have something called the y-axis, and that identifies a point vertically. So we have a horizontal point here, vertical point there, and we put two points together, we create a coordinate. So what we have here in the center of our coordinate plane is 0, or otherwise known as the origin. This is where the origin is where the x-axis and the y-axis meet. And any point around there is where we're going to be indicating. So, if you look at your grid, you notice that it's divided up into 4 sections. The one sheet is divided up into 4 sections, and the 4 sections are as follows. The first quadrant, which indicates 2 positive numbers. The second quadrant, which indicates a negative and a positive number. The third quadrant, which indicates 2 negative numbers. And finally, the fourth quadrant, which indicates a positive and a negative number. Those together compose your entire grid. So if we were looking at it, we notice we're looking at it in a counterclockwise direction. And that is how we will indicate our points. So here we go. Let's clear the screen and let's graph a few. So it's important to note, when you have any points on a graph, it's important to note that it's separated by, each coordinate is separated by parentheses. And each coordinate has 2 numbers in it to indicate what they are, to help you find it. So what you would do is you look at the first coordinate, which is on the x-axis, or first part of your coordinate is on the x-axis, and the second part of your coordinate is on the y-axis. So putting those two together is how you find your point. So if we need to graph a point, say this point, 4, 3, how would we graph that point is relatively simple. We start at 0 and we work our way 4 places. And since the first number is x, we start at 0 and we go to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's y. 1, 2, 3. And we have our first point graphed. It's helpful. I'm going to erase those marks so I don't confuse myself later on. And then I can graph another point, -3, 4. And since now my x is a negative number, I start at 0, and I'm going to go 3 over to right here, and then I'm going to go up 4 because my y is positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where I end up. And again, I'm going to erase that mark I made so I don't confuse myself. And the last one is negative 5, 0, my last point, negative 5, 0. Starting at 0, go all the way to negative 5, and since my y is 0, I stay right there. And I've just graphed 3 points. Okay, not too hard, is it? Sometimes when you graph things, you can make shapes, or you'll make even pictures with these, or you'll be doing actual area and perimeter of things as you do this. So lots of different things can happen when you're graphing your points. So make sure that you, as you graph your points, that you're taking your time and you're really trying to see what you're accomplishing. So if I need to graph 3, 4, and 2, negative 3, and negative 1, 2, and 0, negative 4, for me to graph all those 3 points, all I do is I go, start here at 0, go 3 over, and then we go up 4 for the dot. Then I'm going to go 2 over for my second one, and down 3 because my y is negative. Now my x is negative, so I'm going to go to the left once, and then I'm going to go up twice because my y is positive. Then my last one, my x is at 0, so it stays there, and now my y is negative 4, so I just go down to negative 4, and I have my points graphed as easily as that. So not too terribly complicated, but as long as you remember that in each of your coordinates that the first one is the x and the second one is the y, you can easily indicate these. So let's put another series of points up here. Okay, I got 4 points up there. Let's graph those. We're going to make a shape, and then we're going to find the perimeter and area of a square. And the terminology for that is each point is going to be a vertice or a vertex. We're going to find the 4 vertices, each one's a vertex of the square. So 2, 2, 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, 2. Draw a square. Okay, I have a square drawn. Easy, I have my points done. Now, since it's a square, count how many units long it is. It's 1, 2, 3, sorry, it's totally messed it up. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3. It's a square, so it should be right. 1, 2, 3. So each side is 3 units long. So perimeter of a square, remember, is P equals 4S. So P equals 4 times 3. So P equals 12 units. The perimeter of this square is 12 units. Now the area of this square is, again, all I have to do for area of a square is take the side and square it. So since the side is 3, so A equals 3 squared, so A equals 9 square units. And that could be a really, really helpful tool for you as you solve these problems. Let's move on to a few more. All right, so what if you're indicated 3 vertices of a rectangle? And then you're told that you need to find the perimeter and area of that rectangle. And of course your first thought is, well, I only have 3, and of course the rectangle has 4. So you also need to logically guess where that, not guess, but come up where that 4th one is. So first off, let's graph the 3 points that we know. 2, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, negative 1. And the last point, since it's a rectangle, we were told that, we know we can logically guess that my rectangle is going to be straight across from here and vertically from here. So that's my last point. So my last point to indicate that is negative 2, 1. Negative 2, 1. Done. Pretty simple. Then we need to find the perimeter and area of this rectangle. All right, so my rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4 units long, and it is only 2 units wide. So the perimeter of that then is going to be, the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. So P equals 2 times 4 plus 2 times 2. So the perimeter of my rectangle is going to be 8 plus 4. So perimeter equals 12 units. And the area of a rectangle equals length times width. So area equals 4 times 2. A equals 8 square units. As simple as that. Really easy. So what I'm going to have you do then is I'm going to have you practice these on your own. Try a few of these now that you've done it in class. So thank you and have a good day.